Hello, Pickle Peeps. Thank you for joining me for another book review episode. This is our second one. We're updating our journal, and I'm slowly realizing things that I can do to be better at it. It's hard for me because a lot of these I read at the end of last year, so thank you so much for taking the time. Oh. Hi. Hi. You can kind of see him like right there. The little fluff ball. That's my puppers. That's Kane. But thank you for your patience. Thank you for hanging out with me. Today we're going to be talking about A Touch of Ruin. And I didn't know if I wanted this book to be in the reading journal, but you know what? I was like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. This is... That was weird. So thank you guys so much for sticking around with me. This is a learning process, and I'm super excited to get better at all of this and be more put together. More put together. That's the goal, is more put together. So today we are talking about A Touch of Ruin, which is the second book in the Hades and Persephone Saga that was written by Scarlett St. Clair. I was first turned on to this series when I had TikTok on my phone. I don't anymore, but I used to. And it was one of those things where I was just like scrolling through Book Talk, and it was like, this is a great series. And it was just like spice level off the chart. Everybody loves the relationship. It's so great. And I was like, okay. The first book is called A Touch of Darkness. And it's a retelling of the Hades and Persephone story, and this book, this series has a very intriguing world. And when I read the synopsis of the first book, I was like, okay, I love a Hades and Persephone story. So I listened to it on audio, and I was like, it was a little problematic, like the first one. I was like, but okay, I can get over it. Just the world had me very intrigued. What it is Persephone was sequestered off by her mother when she was born. There was a prophecy type thing, so her mother kind of locked her away in a greenhouse, and she is able to leave as long as she promises her mom that she gets to stay hidden, and she will definitely stay away from Hades because her mother hates Hades and was always talking so much shit and saying all kinds of stuff about him that he's like, you stay away from Hades. So she's like, all right, Hades is a terrible person because mother said so. And she is living as a human in New Athens. Is that what it's called? I think it's called New Athens. Athens, New Athens, one of the two. And it is a modern day Athens where the gods get to still rule everything. They're still there. They have PR reps now. They're on social media. They pretty well acclimated to the modern world. And so she's there. She wants to be a journalist. She gets a job at her newspaper. She's so excited, and she's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I am going to expose the gods. I am going to show people the real way they treat humans, because she's very big on this is an injustice, very big on it. And it kind of bothered me, but I was like, okay, whatever. She's just newly 18 type thing, never met a man, never had a boyfriend, never did anything adult like until now. And I feel like that's not my jam as much, but I'm like, okay, it's fine. Hades has a club. She goes to the club with her friends, and she's like, all right, cool, we're here at the club, we're hanging out. She just happens to wander into Hades' gambling, card room type thing, meets Hades, doesn't realize it's Hades, flirts and everything. She ends up in this weird contract where she has to create life in the underworld. And So she's going down there every now and then, and they're like slowly building up this relationship, even though they really didn't. Like, looking at the relationship itself, I'm just like, you guys did not work at this. Pretty much, she was just like surprised that Hades wasn't the terrible person that her mother told her. And he showed her evidence that he is not the terrible person. She thought that he could bring whoever he wanted back from the dead and it wouldn't affect anything. There's nothing else to it, and he just refused to. And she thought that until like probably 75 to 80% within the book, where she was like, all right, so he can't do that. Okay. And then she slowly started falling in love with him, and for him it was kind of instant love, and I was like, okay, it's fine. The world intrigued me enough that I wanted to, I'll give the second book a chance, which is A Touch of Ruin. And there's apparently like another book in between them, but for some reason my library was not showing that book. It just showed A Touch of Darkness and A Touch of Ruin. So I didn't listen to or read the technically second one, so this one's the third one. And I was like, okay, totally fine. I started listening to it, and the third book picks up right after the first book. So I don't know what the second book is, but the third book picks up right after the first one. After the first one, Hades and Persephone, they're together. She realizes, a big part of her whole, like, I'm not good enough. I'm not this great person, this great goddess. She is the goddess of spring, but she cannot make anything grow. And it turns into one of those, you have to look inside yourself. You need to learn how to use your powers, and your mother was stifling it, and then by the end of it, she's able to use her powers. There was, I think, a nymph or something that pissed her off, so she turned her into a mint plant, even though that person was a faithful servant of Hades and had been for like centuries. And Hades just like, well, she bugged you, so we'll just let it happen. Consequences? No. Even though he's telling her throughout the book, like, there's consequences for your actions. Anyways, she's still playing off of this thing like she's human, nothing going on. And the way that the gods are different from humans is they have antlers in this one, and they can glamour themselves to look like humans and hide their antlers and godly type features. And so at the end of the first book, they go public. Not really what she wanted to do, kind of against her will. Like, she was still trying to hide from the public eye and from being away from him in public, but there was like a game type thing, and then everybody's like, oh, Hades is with this random person, and so they go public. She doesn't like it. The beginning of the third book, she has to create a news article series. She was told this by her boss. She has to create this news article series of Hades, like a focus on Hades. Hades didn't allow interviews. He didn't allow pictures to be taken of him. So they were like, you have to do this thing on Hades. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. Even though she was in the first book. Like, that's how she got close to him, is trying to expose him for the wrong things he was doing to mortals. And then she was like, oh, no, he's not doing that. No. And she pisses off Apollo by doing a story on him instead. And so they're like, you have to do these series on Hades, and if you don't do that, pretty much you're fired. And she's like, you can't do that to me. And he's like, look, I answer to somebody too, and this is what you have to do, or you're not going to work here anymore. And from the books, between the books, I didn't jump from one right to another. There was like a few month gap. That's why the first one isn't in the reading journal. And so it goes straight into her not being able to talk to Hades about her situation, her predicament, because she's like, I don't want him to fix the situation or get mad at anybody. I'm like, but communication's kind of a big thing. Like, you guys both went through this in the first book to where you're like, we should be able to talk to each other. And then that gets thrown out the window in the third book. She doesn't talk to him. She plots behind him. And then she's like, you know what? I'm going to take down Apollo and show Hades I can take care of myself. And Hades is dealing with like something. I didn't even get far enough into the book to figure out what he was dealing with. I did not finish this book. I don't know if you can get that from what I'm saying. This is the first book, hopefully the only book that'll be put in this reading journal that we did not finish. I want to say about 25% into the book. And I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I understand that she is written to be younger, but she was more adult in the first book when she was brand new into the world and didn't know anybody, didn't know anything, and she was just like fresh out of college and she just wanted to be a journalist. Like, she was more adult in that book than she was in this book. In this book, she reads just like an entitled little brat, which she wasn't written to be in the first one. So it was just like, who is this person? And at every point, they could just talk to each other. Like, just talk to each other. Like, he's talking about he's thinking about making her the queen of his realm, and she got mad at him, and they got into like a weird little argument where he's just like, we shouldn't be able, like, any type of communication would have avoided that argument. Any type of communication would have avoided it. And she was mad at him. So he was like, all right, she's mad at me. She told me she wants some space. I'm going to give her some space. And then she's just the common trope thingy of being, he's not talking to me. Why is he not here? Why is he not talking to me? Why is he not apologizing? And I know you were very adamant that you did not want him around. So he is respecting your wishes. And it's not until she gets super stressed and anxiety ridden and she's just like, I can't do this, that he shows back up to comfort her. And I understand why that's a plot device. Like, I get it. But all of this just compounded made me just really hate Persephone. Like, and this whole relationship was just, I'm like, this is stupid. I understand why she's acting like a child, because she's a young adult. She just got out on her own. I understand it. This is her first relationship, and it just happens to be with the god because she is a goddess. And I'm like, but Hades is old as dirt. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why can't you just be the mature one in the relationship and be like, hey, even with him not talking to her, not like, she's like, she wants to be alone. Okay, he doesn't even tell her, I understand you want her to be alone, or, you know, I understand you're upset right now. I'm going to give you the space you want, and just let me know when you want to talk or whatever. Any type of communication. In this whole book, like, and I listened to 25%. There was nothing wrong with the audiobook. Usually audiobooks are a little bit tricky if the narrator, especially with a romance, if the narrator's weird or if the narrator's not right, I'm not going to be into the book. And I'd rather read it. I'm like, the narration was great. I love the world that was built with this new Athens and all of this new technology and how the gods fit into it and how it uses their, like, the powers that they have in all of these myths and stuff, and like incorporates it into corporations they have now, how they built their fortune, how they built their followers, and all of this stuff like that. That was fascinating. And then I'm like, no, we're just We're just stuck in the underworld with Persephone's apartment, listening to her being upset with Hades, and then while also being like, I can't talk to him. He would be mad. I can't talk to him. He would try and fix it. Maybe? Maybe not? Like, you just talk to him. You could just talk to him. Like, you guys are in a relationship. You guys could just talk. Like, it was so frustrating to me. I don't know what happened in that second book, but from the first book to the third book, Persephone got stupider. Like, she wasn't the brightest bulb in, you know, the candelabra type thing in the first one. This third one, I was just like, oh, why are you acting like you're 13? Like, why? Why are you making these decisions? None of these make sense from the character that I was introduced to in the first one. And then Hades is just very like, oh, I can't talk to anybody. I can't do anything. And brooding for no reason. For no reason. There was no reason. No reason. I could not finish this book. If you guys finished it, like, kudos to you. I did see on TikTok before when I had it. I don't have it anymore. I haven't downloaded it on my phone. I just have a few things on my new phone. I broke my other one, so I got a new one, and I just haven't downloaded anything on it. So, not really. But before, like, this series was really awesome. I saw on there, it's like, oh, has a whole fan base. Like, kudos to you guys. Like, I can't stand this. Like, I could not stand this. I cannot stand characters misunderstanding and not communicating with each other, like, on purpose. Like, there's no reason. No reason. But I don't know what happened the rest of the book. I really want to care. I really want to care, but I can't. I can't. Like, the whole way they were acting just put me off of this whole book. So, I did like the world. Like, I didn't hate the world. I hated how she acted, and her and Hades acted the whole thing. What did I give this? 1.5 stars. I gave it 1.5 stars. I didn't care for the dialogue as much. Just the world saved it from being like 1 or less. Like, that's what it was. Hopefully I'll be able to maybe get back into it and update this. If I do, I highly doubt it. I don't think I'll go back to this book, but who knows? Who knows? We'll see how that goes. Anyways, that is my little rant for this one. It did not finish for me. If you guys finished it, let me know if you guys liked it. Let me know if it gets better. Like, I may read it if the rest of the series gets better. It's just, I was just like, Persephone, my dude. Like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck is wrong with you? And I'm pretty sure there's a whole story on that part. Maybe I'll get to know it. I don't know. But 1.5 stars for me. And we did put it in the reading journal. It took up its whole little page, so hopefully we'll be able to move on, and the next romance we read will be better. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, hanging out, and this is a shorter video, but that's because I did not finish the book because I didn't like it. So thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, afternoon, whatever it is, where you are. Definitely do all the YouTube things, like, subscribe. If you finished it, let me know in the comments. Let me know if it gets better. Like, I don't know. You guys, I don't know. But I will hopefully talk to you guys next time for the next book, which is... I had it! Gilded. I think that one was I think it's called romance too. We'll find out. We'll figure it out. But yes, that one will be hopefully next week, maybe 2. I don't know. I'll get it out as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys have an amazing time. Bye-bye.